My name is Dunker, and this is my bike. Hey, I'm almost ready to leave on my epic journey, and I did something exciting last night. I called my favorite radio show called Free Talk Live, and I'd like to share that with you right now.
So let's go to Dunker. He's on the line with us here. Dunker calling from, I believe, Florida on Skype.
Yes. Hey, guys. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Hey, welcome to the show. You are one of our listeners who is a Free Talk Live amplifier, and you've mentioned recently that you've got a big plan ahead of you. What's going on?
Oh, I'm finally getting out of the state of Florida and coming home to New Hampshire to be with you guys.
Wow.
As part of the Shire Society.
Well, we can definitely relate, having also left the state of Florida. In our case, we left back in 2006. After having launched this show in 2002, we moved up here as part of the migration, that there are these active migrations of libertarians and voluntarists and liberty-loving anarchists, people that really care about freedom, who are picking up their lives and moving, sometimes as you are, across the country. Congratulations to you, Dunker, for this.
We're having this conversation about expatriation. I don't hate Florida.
I don't either. It's beautiful.
Understood that there wasn't an opportunity to pursue what was important to me, which was the creation of a place where people could live more freely. Florida's, the population's growing all the time. The geriatrics that move there are constantly, making the laws so that they benefit them, as they, as people do. People vote their interests, right? So if you're going to move from New York or Illinois or something like that,
all the old status, moving from New York,
you're going to move down to Sarasota, Florida, and you're going to vote your interests. Well, those interests weren't my interests, and I decided to go elsewhere. I don't consider Florida to be awful or anything like that.
No, it's a fine place to visit, but if you want to see freedom in your lifetime, then Florida is not going to be that place. So what was it, Dunker, that what was kind of the clincher for you? Why did you decide to make this big move to join other libertarians in New Hampshire?
Well, I started listening to you guys when podcasts pretty much started out. That was back when Manwich was on the show. when you guys were on Florida. That's an old joke.
Yep.
People might not get.
That's you, Mark. You used to call yourself Manwich.
I did, yeah.
In the early days of this show.
And I about 5 years ago, I lost the right to drive, and I just kind of as a streak. I have a big stubborn streak, and I said, well, fine. I'm never going to drive again. Fine. And so I've been riding my bicycle very regularly since then.
Yeah, we met you, I think, for the first time at the Coins in the Kingdom conference, which was a Bitcoin conference that was held in Orlando, and I don't think they've had another one since that first one.
No.
But you had ridden up the coast of Florida, because where are you from? Palm Beach, somewhere on the East Coast, I think it was?
Yes, East Coast, a little town called Sebastian.
Yep, okay, Sebastian, and I've actually been there once.
As have I.
And you rode up the coast, a number of hours on a bike all the way up to Orlando. So you are definitely a serious bike rider, but you're about to set out on a pretty big journey. You're doing Florida to New Hampshire. How many miles is that? I'm sure you've calculated a route
out. According to Google Maps, it's just over 1,500 miles.
Wow. Because I know that took, when we drove up here back in 2006, it took about 26 hours, I think it was, and that was driving straight with only stopping for gas fill-ups and, the occasional bite to eat. But that was just, no sleep time. If you're going to sleep, you slept in the car as you switched off driving. So 26 hours straight. How long are you expecting this to take?
I can do about 100 miles a day, and at that pace, I should make it in about 2 weeks.
Sounds right.
Excellent. So you're planning on making it in time for the upcoming Somalia Fest at Rogers Campground. Is that right?
I might make it to Somalia Fest. I'm definitely making it to Pork Fest.
Okay, got it. Well, we'll hope to see you at Somalia Fest. I know that we're going to be there for at least a couple of days. We're not sure if we're staying for the whole thing or not. It depends on accommodations. But wow, what an exciting idea and movement.
Right, and if you've ever talked to a libertarian, it's likely one of the things you've said is either voiced a concern about without the government taking care of it, how would we have roads? Or if you'd probably told them, if you don't like it here, move to Somalia. And that's the reason that we're going to have Somalia Fest here in New Hampshire in just 1 month away.
Yeah, and now Dunker is on the line here, calling us from Florida, the southeast portion of the state. He is getting ready to kick off a bike ride heading all the way up to New Hampshire, 1,500 miles. It's going to take approximately 2 weeks. He says he can do 100 miles a day. You're leaving from Sebastian, and when are you leaving? Is it tomorrow or tonight?
I'm leaving early in the morning, tomorrow morning, like 4 or 5.
So let's talk about what it's like to ride a long distance like this. Is this your longest ride that you will have ever accomplished?
Correct.
Okay, and prior to this, what's the longest one that you've done?
I went out to I'm relatively close to the headquarters for the Venus Project, and you guys have talked about it before.
That's the Marxism with robots thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
It's
I didn't know they had a
little
headquarters.
nutty, but it's interesting.
I just thought it was a YouTube video.
It is interesting.
All right. So that's a whole other conversation. So anyway, so what was the longest ride?
On that trip, I did 100 miles out. First day was 100 miles. Second day was just over 30, and the third day was about 100 as well.
What was wrong the second day?
Oh, that was just from the hotel to the Venus Project headquarters.
Okay.
Now, so this is going to be a lot longer. So you're talking about 10, 15 times longer ride.
Oh, yeah.
I know that when Will Anderson was walking across the country as sort of almost a publicity stunt or personal accomplishment things, kind of both simultaneously,
both of those things.
and
at the same time.
I remember when he was doing that obviously you walk that far, you're going to burn a hole through some shoes. There's going to be some problems that come up. What is it that you foresee? I mean, besides a popped bike tire, what is it that is likely to occur as far as difficulties biking across that long distance?
Oh, bike problems are the biggest thing I've had in the past. I'm going to be prepared as much as I can. I'm carrying 4 extra inner tubes and a little bike repair kit, and
what else can you carry?
So what are you packing out? I mean, obviously, a lot of people when they move across the country or move anywhere, it's always a good idea to simplify. It's a good idea to sell down the crap that you have. Mark, unfortunately, didn't do this at all when he moved up here. But
I think normal people bring a U-Haul. Quit being
I think simplifying is a good idea anytime in life.
You threw away all your furniture.
And moving, because you can always get more furniture.
That's true.
Anyway, and moving is a good time and a good excuse to do that. Obviously, if you're on a bicycle, you have to. So what are you planning on, what are you packing out besides the bike repair stuff?
Yeah, just a backpack and a little dry bag, like those camping dry bags.
I don't know what that is. Is that something you store things in?
Yeah, they take them on sailboats too. The idea is you roll the top up and you clip it over and then it's airtight.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
And so wait, camping stuff too, did you say?
No, I'm going to be staying in motels. Okay,
all right. So that lightens the load. It's going to increase the cost a little bit, but you'll lighten the load.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what about? I know that one thing that Will and others who have traveled across the country have found was the case was that people can be very generous. So you may want to consider Airbnb, for instance, or reaching out to libertarian communities in the cities that you're planning on going through. You might be able to crash on people's couches and save a lot of money that way.
I hadn't thought about that too much.
Yeah, something to consider there. And also, will you be doing any publicity for the ride besides calling Free Talk Live, which I appreciate. I'm glad you're calling because I think it's an exciting project.
It's also pretty easy.
Right.
Yeah, I have a website and Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff.
And what is the website?
It's dunkerbike.com.
Dunkerbike. So what are you going to be posting up there? Like blogs about here's what happened today. I got a pop tire. Somebody threatened me. Whatever. Ran over a squirrel. What will you be posting there?
Pretty much, yeah. I plan to each day will be a single post on the website. on Facebook and Twitter and Google and all that stuff, I'll be posting, like, as I take a picture, I'll post it right away. The website's going to be at the top of the page. There'll be a link to a map where people can follow me on my ride. I have an app on my phone that tracks my location in real time.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
And you can see exactly where I am on the map.
Yeah, we didn't have that back when Will Anderson walked across the country, and actively updated map of exactly where you are, which is cool because that means that supporters can easily go out and and meet you. Contacting media in the cities in which you're going to be arriving, giving them a heads up that, hey, I'm traveling across the country and I'm coming through, Charleston, South Carolina, or whatever. And so you call the TV station, you call the newspaper, you call the talk radio stations there, and you just kind of pitch the idea and you see if you can stir up any interest, which would do a lot to drive traffic to your website and ultimately give you the opportunity to talk about why you're moving to New Hampshire in all of those media, and really, publicize this beyond the libertarian community. So I'd like to suggest that to you if you haven't thought about it. Right.
It's something to think about, sure. I'll probably try that at some point.
Cool. Well, let us know how it goes, will you? I mean, as you're going throughout the ride. It doesn't have to be every day if you don't feel like it, but just whenever you've got an update worth sharing with our audience, feel free.
I have one other question.
Yeah.
Is there a bike path you intend to take, or is this going to be all on the road?
It's going to be highways.
Okay. Like U.S. highways, not interstates, right?
Interstates, it's usually illegal to ride a bicycle.
That's what my thought was.
Right. U.S. 1 is the main road I'm going to be taking.
It's a pretty busy road in a lot of locations. Please be careful out there.
Exciting.
Thank you.
I hear you're coming up to join us in the Keene area, which is even better, of course. And but either way, anywhere you end up in New Hampshire, it's going to be, I think, spectacular. And you'll be surrounded by natives who love liberty, a bunch of people like us who've moved here for more freedom. And Dunker, ride safe. We'll look forward to hearing from you again.
Thanks.
Yep, that's dunkerbike.com.
If
We're
you
coming up.
recently declared bankruptcy.